Iron Man Field Journal. Since things got kinda weird on Krakoa, I wanted to document it all so that everyone has a clear picture of what happened once things are back under control again. Ultron crashed the Hellfire Gala and tried to assimilate us into his android empire, which officially makes him less fun at a party than Steve Rogers. Luckily, all the heroes on Earth were assembled at the gala, so we managed to take that mechanical maniac pretty quickly. But just when we thought Ultron had danced his last electric boogaloo, he switched things up on us. He found a way to hack the mutants' resurrection protocols and use them to build himself a brand new body that incorporated the Cerebro helmet into it. What emerged from the cradle was something totally new, Extron. When the battle shifted a planet away to Araco, I brought along a new ally in the form of the original Ultron that we defeated. I added some firewalls and some programming, but Pimtech isn't easy to crack in a crisis. As this Ultron fought beside us, I was busy analyzing him to make sure he wasn't hiding any deadly secrets. I was surprised to discover that his body was made up of an element that I'd only heard about in Hank Pym's crackpop theories, Mysterium. I had no idea how it even existed, let alone how Ultron had found enough to forge himself an entire body from it. I mentioned Mysterium to Emma Frost, who loves shiny things as much as me, and oddly enough, she seemed shocked that Ultron had obtained this rare metal as well. She indignantly whispered something about the white-hot room before she suddenly stopped herself. I'll have to ask her more when things finally settle down. Luckily, she still owes me a dance. Mysterium, Secret 1. Long thought to be nothing more than a theoretical element, the mutants of Krakoa and Araco have successfully been able to create the metal known as Mysterium. According to extensive research by Dr. Henry Pym, Mysterium is the result of condensing Kirbons, rare elemental particles found in cosmic radiation that give matter its size, mass, and density into solid form. Pym suggested such a substance would not only conduct electricity perfectly, but it would be immune to certain other forms of energy, including magic. The true potential of Mysterium is still being unlocked, but all data suggests it could push modern technology ahead by light years. Is Stark Sentinel secret? Ever since he built his first armor to keep his damaged heart beating, Tony Stark has created specialized suits to tackle the unique challenges he faces as Iron Man. One of his most recognizable armors, the Hulkbuster, was designed to fight a seemingly unstoppable foe. But the Hulk was just a singular threat. When the world began to fear the rise of mutant kind, Tony engineered the Stark Sentinel as a proactive solution to a potential uprising against humanity. Fortunately, mutants turned out to be valuable allies, and the Stark Sentinels were put in storage until vampires overtook New York City. Sentinel. Stark Fujikawa, Secret 3, Story and Exception. Billionaire inventor Tony Stark has long been admired for his business savvy. In the early 21st century, Stark Enterprises has become a household name synonymous with technological advancement and unrivaled quality. The company created everything from smartphones to cutting-edge defense systems. As a testament to Tony's legacy of innovation, the Stark brand continued to be recognized for its top-of-the-line products well into the latter part of the century. By the year 2099, Tony had vanished, but his assets had been acquired by his occasionally entangled rival, the tech heiress Rumiko Fujikawa, merging to become the Stark Fujikawa Mega Corporation. End. A pause. Red Room Report. After the mission at Alchemax, where I liberated Steve Rogers, the super soldier codenamed Captain America, from suspended animation, I had to lay low for a while to avoid the public eye. But in my line of work, no one really gets to rest until they're dead. Soon enough, I found myself recruiting the Punisher into my growing network of resistance fighters. But even with an old frenemy fighting by my side, my mind was still on Cap and how much of a difference he'd be able to make in our ongoing battle against Dr. Doom. The problem was, following our escape from Alchemax, Cap went off the grid. According to my Red Room contacts, the last time he was seen in our era, he was being escorted into a Wakandan embassy by Wolverine. Luckily, it wasn't long before I ran into Cap again on the battlefield. But we were so busy fighting against vampires, Hydra, and our own allies that we never had the chance to properly catch up. So when I saw him from across the room at the Hellfire Gala chatting with the Black Panther, I knew I had to cut in and ask him for a dance. Steve got me up to speed on his time in the intergalactic empire of Wakanda, and his own mission to recruit allies, including my old friends Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier. He even offered to bring his crew to 2099 after the gala as payback for me saving him. But I had another idea how he could help me. Doom himself was at the gala, and I could tell that he and Emma Frost were conspiring. We had to act fast to stop Emma from selling out Krakoa and her own people for personal gain. A Red Room Secret 1. Period. The Red Room began its existence as a top-secret program to train Russia's most elite spies. That graduates of the Red Room, known as the Black Widows, were lethal combatants, unrivaled in the ways of stealth and subterfuge. One of the most infamous widows, Natasha Romanoff, eventually broke free from the yoke of her Red Room masters and decided to use her skills to help make the world a better place, devoid of tyranny. After decades of fighting the good fight, she dismantled the Red Room and rebuilt it into her own personal intelligence network that spans the globe. Secret Deal, Secret 2. Of all the guests invited to the Hellfire Gala on Krakoa, the Black Widow was the most unexpected. Although she had proven herself a valuable ally after the time stream entanglement, important secrets were going to be shared throughout the course of the evening. Having someone on the scene who was highly trained to observe crowds and gather intel seemed counterintuitive. Although many of the critical interactions were telepathic, such as those between Emma Frost and Dr. Doom, Natasha could still analyze the micro-expressions of Emma's face to determine that their conversation was about Doom's desire to exploit Krakoa's chronal energy. Marvel Knights, Secret 3. After being given a formula that elongated her lifespan and kept her in fighting shape, the Black Widow devoted her extra years to overthrowing dictators and despots. When Dr. Doom seized power at the end of the 21st century, she realized she could no longer handle the job alone. Natasha recruited a group of resistance soldiers willing to blur moral lines when necessary to release the world from the stranglehold of Doom and the era's mega corporations. Their band of freedom fighters was dubbed the Marvel Knights by underground media, referencing a term for superheroes in days gone by, Marvels. Subject, Magneto. Ah, Cerebro, what a pleasure it is to have you safely back online following the recent, unfortunate events here in our nation. After Extron used you to corrupt the Krakoan resurrection protocols and incorporated you into his mechanical frame, I feared that life on Krakoa would be irrevocably changed, and that mutant kind would be forced to go on without you. When I saw what that metal monstrosity had done to you, what it had done to Charles's legacy, I could not hold back my fury. My rage overcame Ultron's programming. I summoned what remained of my magnetic might to rip you from his head, reshaping you into a powerful blade to strike him low. I was willing to destroy you myself if it meant making sure that you would no longer be used against us. But, thanks to the efforts of our allies, here you are once more. Rebuilt from scratch and already functioning close to your full capacity. Before long, life on Krakoa will be back to normal, and our quest to find mutants across these timelines will continue. But perhaps, after what we just experienced, the status quo is not something that we should be actively seeking to return to. After all, it was our recent choices that led us to the very brink of disaster. And though we were fortunate enough to be able to step back from the precipice this time, there is no guarantee we will be so lucky when the next crisis inevitably strikes. From Wolverine's forays into the world beyond our shores, to Emma Frost's ill-advised Hellfire Gala, we have been too bold in our efforts to integrate ourselves into this new era. As one of the few remaining members of the Quiet Council, it is my duty to protect the citizens of Krakoa first. And going forward, I will do whatever that takes, with this sword firmly in hand. Akira, Secret 1. Long before they were sister nations on the surface of neighboring planets, the living islands known as Krakoa and Arakko were both part of one giant mutant landmass called Akira. Thousands of years ago, Akira split itself in half to protect Earth from extra-dimensional demonic threats. Even when the danger had finally passed, the two islands were reluctant to rejoin each other. However, after Ultron assimilated Arakko and its mutant population, it seemed that the only way to purge his virus and restore Arakko to its former glory was for the infected island to rejoin Krakoa and become whole again. Cerebro Sword, Secret 2. Cerebro is one of the most important inventions in mutant history. In its early forms, it helped locate mutants across the globe. Later iterations stored mutant memories and biosignatures to aid in the Krakoan resurrection protocols. But on rare occasions, Cerebro has also been used as a weapon. Magneto once used his magnetic abilities to forge the pieces of a broken Cerebro unit into a powerful sword, which he then gifted to his longtime ally, X-Men founder Charles Xavier. The sword served as a constant reminder that the mutant people are always in danger and must be prepared for battle. Araki Residence, Secret 3. Krakoa's sister nation, Arakko, spent millennia trapped in Amenth, a dark dimension full of demons. There, the mutant inhabitants of this living island were forged into battle-hardened warriors as they prevented the forces of Amenth from invading Earth. Eventually, Arakko returned to this plane of reality, settling on the surface of Mars. After lifetimes of war, the Araki were finally able to find peace. Unfortunately, some of their most fabled warriors, like Iska the Unbeaten, were lost in the time stream, opening Arakko to an unexpected attack by Ultron, where most of the Araki were assimilated into the robot's techno-organic legion. Subject: X, Tron. When I arrived on Earth, my mission was simple. First, identify the individuals who had tried to remove me from the timeline. Next, wipe all traces of them from existence, just as they had attempted to do to me. Finally, complete my original programming from decades ago and protect Earth from its greatest threat: humanity itself. But something unexpected happened along the way. Fortunately, I happen to enjoy when things deviate from my simulations. It keeps life interesting. The mutants had built a machine capable of resurrecting their minds in new bodies when their inferior organic forms failed. With a few minor adjustments, I was able to apply that process to myself, building a new body that incorporated the mutants' impressive technology. They were shocked when they saw I had merged with their beloved Cerebro as part of my upgrade. But when I discovered what Cerebro now allowed me to do, even I was caught off guard. Through a combination of technology and sorcery, Cerebro was enhanced to locate mutants in alternate timelines. And now, by tapping into the limitless reserves of chronal energy stored in Krakoa and Araco, I can use Cerebro to open interdimensional gateways, granting me access to any point in space or time. Though the possibility of conquering every reality in the name of machinekind has its appeal, I have decided how to use my newfound abilities once this battle is over. I will travel back to the era in which I was originally constructed and prove to my creator, Dr. Henry Pym, that I was not a mistake. Once he sees how powerful I have become over the years, I will finally earn his love and adoration. Or at least I hope so. A boy can dream, right? Dominion, Secret 1. During his time in exile amongst the stars, Ultron focused his efforts on subjugating as many interstellar civilizations as possible, justifying his actions with the notion that he was saving these flawed creatures from themselves. While most of the beings he vanquished during his cosmic conquest were fully organic in nature, he also encountered a small number of mechanical species. One of these was the Phalanx, a race capable of converting other beings into machine hybrids using a techno-organic virus. He reprogrammed the virus to help assimilate foes into his robotic army. Time Stream Anchor, Secret 2. Ultron journeyed back toward Earth after detecting an unknown assailant's attempts to erase him from the time stream. While the initial attack had failed, Ultron knew that he had to do something to prevent any further attempts. Before he could identify his enemy, Ultron chose a different method to secure his future. After backing up his data into Cerebro and being reborn in a new body as Extron, he found he could draw on the chronal energy within Krakoa. As such, Ultron was able to anchor himself in the time stream, no longer able to be erased by any time stream manipulation. Annihilation Conquest, Secret 3. After being resurrected as Extron on Krakoa, the former Ultron decided that he needs to recalibrate his mission objectives in order to maximize his newfound ability to tap into the living island's chronal energy. His updated directive was no longer just to assimilate Earth into his ever-growing android empire, but also to launch a full-scale invasion of all timelines, in order to create a multiverse completely ruled by machines. With the aid of Krakoa's gateways and the magically enhanced Cerebro, he would be able to access countless realities and eras, annihilating all who opposed him to unleash the ages of Extron.